Hi guys, welcome to Brown Smoothie Homestead. I'm Lindsay if you're new to our channel, and in this video I'm going to be sharing all about our experience taking our 2, 3, and 4-year-old on a Royal Caribbean cruise. I'll be sharing with you all the things I'm super happy I brought along, some things I could have ditched, and I'll also be sharing just if I recommend going or not with kids at those ages. But before I tell you too much, I'm going to share a little bit about our family.
Hi, I'm Lindsay, and this is my husband Angelo, but we call him Ange. I'm a stay-at-home mom and Ange is a full-time entrepreneur. He fixes up the worst of the worst rental homes and transforms them to something beautiful, and we also have a landscaping business on the side. Together, we have 3 kids and we're starting a homestead from scratch on our 30 acres. We live in our barndominium right now until we start a forever home build. We believe in working hard, playing even harder, and bringing the old-fashioned values back into the home. We have no idea what we're doing half the time, but we know with God, our family can accomplish great things.
If you're watching this, I'm assuming you're a parent and you don't have all the time in the world to watch a YouTube video. That's why I'm going to speed round. We're going to make this quick. I have my phone. I'm going to name some things I'm really thankful for, name some things I regret bringing, but get your phone, get a piece of paper so you can jot some stuff down so you don't forget it. And first I'm going to start off with things that I'm thankful that I brought along. And first one being these backpacks from Amazon. So if you have little kids, and especially if one's in a stroller and you're getting off the ship, it is not ideal to have something around your shoulder, and like especially if you have a kid on your hip and like you're just kind of struggling. So I got 2 of these and it was one of my favorite things. We brought this on the ship, like we went to the water parks with it, like their little splash pads. And it's just this mesh like beach bag. It's very big. You cannot see the size of it, but it's big. They have a nice little pouch right here, a water bottle pouch right here, and then it's a drawstring, so you can just do this. And so my husband and I both had one, so our hands were completely free with dealing with kids. We use these a lot. I will link it in the description. The next one is definitely going to be specific to your family. I am very thankful we brought their life jackets. That was going to be something I'm like, we'll either love that we brought them or hate it. We loved it. None of my kids know how to swim. The tide was so strong at St. Martin. It was really strong, especially for a 2 and a 3-year-old. So I was really thankful I brought that. We never used them on the ship, but for the ocean, that was a really nice place to be. Or a nice thing to have. All right, so this is more of your room and organization type of a thing, but we brought a shoe organizer that was just really cheap. The ones that like hang in your closet and you can put like it has like a bunch of different pouches in it. We got that, and we got magnetic hooks from Amazon because the walls in your room are metal, and that was so helpful because we had so many different little things for me, like toiletries, diapers, creams, just a ton of different products that I was losing track of things. I was like, oh my gosh, I have a shoe organizer, magnetic hooks. We hung it up in the bathroom, and then all of our stuff was displayed. That helped my mind. You may not be like me, that may not be important to you, but we also hung things on the walls that we didn't really want the kids getting to, whether it was like some medicines or something. We got to be able to hang those up, and we actually hung this up. They have hooks in the bathroom, but we used all of them, so we got to hang this up on the wall. That was just a really nice thing to have, and I would do it again. We were super happy we brought a stroller. That is going to be dependent on your youngest age. My daughter was 24 months when we went on the cruise. So sorry, no, she was 25 months. She was 25 months. So that was something I was very thankful for. If she was a little bit older, she would probably hate being in the stroller and she'd be way more opinionated on that, but she was very easygoing with just being in the stroller. So I brought that sucker around everywhere. I brought it around everywhere, out of our room, every time we went to the dining hall. I brought it everywhere. She was always in the stroller. Not always, she was walking around and having fun too, but the stroller was a game changer, just for that like 2 squirrely age, like running around in every different direction. Because our kids are so close in age, I wanted one to at least be contained, so that was very helpful. I would say out of anything, the stroller was the biggest thing to make it easier on us that whole time. This is going to be controversial. Snacks. We went with family. We went with my parents, my siblings, my nieces and nephews all went. So I had my siblings, my sister-in-law. I got a bunch of different Ziploc baggies and took food from the Windjammer and brought it back to their room. That's an option. I also knew my kids, and I knew that they would really like their favorite snacks, and so I packed all these pre-made snacks. I had goldfish, I had applesauce, I had some yogurt smoothies, I had Z-bars, I had an array of different things, and it was so helpful when we were in the room and they're kind of like getting antsy to go somewhere, or they didn't want to be in the room anymore, or if they were hungry and we didn't want to go all the way down to the Windjammer all over again, to just give them a snack. It was like we were at home. I don't know, that really was a mental saver for me, so I was very thankful I brought snacks along. We brought magnetic toys for the walls. That was really helpful. I would say for the 2-year-old, that was really helpful. The 2 and the 3-year-old, my daughter and my son, really liked the magnetic toys. We had like Melissa and Doug animals that they could just play with on the wall, so when we were kind of bored or it was like nap time and one of them woke up, they went to the wall and played on the wall. So that's not a huge need, but it was helpful just to get some quiet moments in the day. Another thing you don't want to forget, it's easy to forget this because it's just kind of, you are packing so much, especially if you have kids, that this can slip your mind very easily, is to bring some type of cream for sunburns, like an aloe vera. In our case, I got this cream that I saw really good reviews on Amazon from Burt's Bees, and it's specifically for sunburns. And so we put that on my husband every night. We had another family member that got burnt pretty bad, and so they were coming to our room like getting lotion every day, and even though their burn was pretty severe, and so this isn't going to help like a terrible burn, they probably should just had aloe vera, but this is very helpful if your kids get a little burnt, to just lather them up in that, because there's nothing like getting burnt the first day at a cruise and then your whole rest of the time is just spent hiding from the sun and in pain. Okay, and the last one is this is a big one, but we were on Symphony of the Seas Royal Caribbean's cruise, and the childcare was phenomenal. So we had 9 kids total in our group, 3 of mine, and then the rest were my nieces and nephews, and nearly every one of them went into childcare. You can do as much with your kids on a cruise ship or as little as you want. They always have stuff going on all the time, even for kids. So I know my niece and my nephew went to laser tag because they're a little bit older. They have like a preschool room, they have a nursery. There's always stuff to do. So you go to the childcare, and then like when you first get on the boat, immediately go to childcare. Specifically like for the nursery age, you have to book times. So like first you can book 8-hour time increments between your whole like 7-day stay, if it may be. And so you'll have specific days, like day 4, she'll be in the nursery from 5 to 7, like stuff like that. But for our boys, we got to drop them off. They had a morning, afternoon, and evening time, and we got to drop them off, and they were free. They were free. My daughter was not. I don't remember how much my daughter was. I think it's $15 an hour. I don't remember that one. But for the younger kids who are potty trained, it was like 3 and up. They are free. So you got to drop them off. We did it, I feel like we did it 3 times. I think so. And each time they left and they wanted to go back, and they kept asking to go back. There was never any tears on any of my kids, and it was shocking because that is not normally like how it would go. They always had games, and they made it super enjoyable for the kids. They had face paint. It was an amazing experience. So that was like the biggest thing, that my husband and I got some time away, and we knew that they were safe. And they gave us phones, so when we left, they could call us, we could call them. It was just great. Things I regret. I brought an Ergo baby. I heard a mom talking about that, and talking about how like when you go down to the Windjammer and you're at a buffet style, how that can be a really stressful time if you have 3 kids or 2 kids. You're just like, you're trying to get plates of food, but you have all these kids and they need to be holding your hand because there's a lot of people. So it's better to put an Ergo baby on your backpack, or your child on your back on an Ergo baby, and then your hands are free. We never did that. We just had a system down where I sat down, my husband went and got the boys' food, he'd come back and I would get Lacey and my daughter and my food. And so we just kind of did that every single time. It was fine. We put her in a high chair and it was good to go. I didn't need to put her on my back. I didn't mind like sitting down for 5 minutes to wait for the boys to get their food. I did bring a compact beach tent, and it was actually, even though it was small, it was heavy. And so I didn't know if we were on these islands, if there would ever be like a shaded area or if it was just like an open beach, because I know they're all different just depending on which area you go to. We just rented the umbrella like chairs, so I knew we were gonna get some shade. I was mostly just concerned, like, if we're at this beach for 6 hours, I want some form of shade for them or we're gonna have to leave. So I brought this beach tent and we never used it. So I'll use it this summer, but just not on the cruise. We did not need it. Okay, so this one's just going to be dependent on what islands you go to and stuff like that, but I regret bringing all of our water shoes. Water shoes are very heavy, specifically adult ones, and my husband and I's water shoes, we never wore them. I already had like sandals that could just be in the water anyways, so I don't really know why I brought mine. And then my kids never wore their water shoes. The beaches were always really clean and they weren't like sharp rocks and stuff like that, but again, you could go on one and it could be sharp rocks. I don't know, but if I was to do it again, my daughter has Crocs, and to me that's the same thing as a water shoe, except they're so light. I would just get all my kids Crocs. We are not a pop drinking family, so we did not get like the soda package or anything, but they do have a refreshment package. And they have a Vitality Spa on Symphony of the Seas. I didn't realize what the refreshment package is. That's like mocktails. I'm pretty sure it was Starbucks. Don't take this as gold. I'm pretty sure it was Starbucks was on the refreshment package, which we did every single day. And then Vitality Spa had fresh juice. And I got like this carrot lemonade, and it was carrots and lemons and oranges, ginger. It was incredible. And then they asked us, do you have the refreshment package, because this would all be a part of that. And that was the moment we regret it that we didn't get it, because that was like on day 3. So going through it, we had a lot of Starbucks and we had a lot of smoothies and juices from Vitality Spa that we spent more than we would have compared to just getting a refreshment package. So we regret not getting one of those. Now to answer the big question, would I recommend going on a cruise with a 2, 3, and a 4-year-old? And the answer is yes, you should do it. I do not think you should wait till they get to a certain age to make memories and to live your life. When you get into that mindset, there's a lot that can be taken away, because it's not always going to be greener on the other side. Like when your kids reach a certain age, it's not that all your worries go away and they can behave and they're not just gonna be humans. Because when you have 14, 15, 16-year-olds, you're gonna have fighting, you're gonna have complaining, you're gonna have just teenagers being tired, and it's just gonna look different when they're at this age. Is this age very stressful? 100%. They're running around, like my kids are all runners. So like they're running around in all directions. When they miss a nap, it's a big deal. They can't totally adjust like a teenager could. So I understand that conversation, but it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like my husband and I's favorite memories so far, and looking back, we'll be like, wow, that was really good that we didn't wait to make memories even though they were really, really little. You know what I'm saying? So I think you should just do it. I think you need to be prepared. A cruise, in my mind, it's like you're preparing for an airport. And what I mean by that is like you're waiting in lines on a cruise. You are around a lot of people, like at an airport. You're going through metal detectors, getting on and off the ship. And you're eating at restaurants, and their schedules are completely mixed up. And so like for little kids, for a 2, 3, and 4-year-old to be in lines and waiting and skipping naps and being forced to eat restaurant style every single meal of the day, that's a big switch up, and that definitely had its stressful moments. I would just say that it's possible, because I feel like if I can do it, I have nothing special. Like my patient my patience wears thin at times, and it definitely did. My husband and I were definitely had moments of like, wow, this is a lot, like what are we doing? But just give it time and your kids will adjust. Because I can tell you one thing, our experience at the airport day one versus us going home in the airport, completely different. They just had a couple days at the start of our cruise where it was very hard to adjust, and it was very overstimulating, and they were missing naps. It was like a shock to their system. And so it was really cool because at the end of it, it was like, wow, they really learned a lot within a week about flexibility and like being able to vocalize some things that were going on inside of them. But I mean, yeah, we definitely ran into like public tantrums and just being honest, but they're human, and we had to keep reminding ourselves that like this is just a part of it. And I think the worst thing you could do is go onto this cruise and expect it's just going to go find a dandy and they're not going to have their moments. They're going to have their moments. It's just, you need to remind yourself that they're human. And so now looking back, we're just like so thankful we did not wait. And we have some forever life memories. I don't know what I'm trying to even say there, but just some treasured memories of this cruise, especially being with their cousins and their grandparents and their uncle and aunt. Like, it's just so special, and I'm so happy I did it. Again, we went on the Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas, and that was an amazing boat. We loved it. There was so much to do with kids, and my husband and I got some fun time alone, and our housekeeper and every person, the workers there were just, that's the one thing I love about Royal Caribbean workers, is they are just the kindest, most intentional people. And I've always witnessed that for myself, but I've never brought kids along, and to see people like the workers really love your kids and like take time out of their day just to really like spotlight on them and be like, how are you doing? What's your name? Where are you from? Like, what's your favorite thing you've done today? That just speaks so much. It just like really solidified when we were on the boat of like, this is really like a really special thing that we're bringing the kids on. It was the best. It was really fun. It was stressful. It had its moments, but it was worth it. So anyways, I hope that's helpful for people that have similar ages, and you got to write some things down that you want to bring, or it just kind of gave you that extra push that you needed, that you can do it. If we did it, you can do it. You got this. You are capable. You are a capable parent. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week with a new video.